Thanks, Bob. Thanks. Here it comes. Ready?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. It is day 7 of my lockdown, which is like, I'm going to kind of make this day 6 and 7 in one film because I took Sunday off. You're now getting this on Tuesday, which I'm filming on Monday, and what you had yesterday was what I filmed on Saturday. Slightly confusing, but then it's a confusing time. So I've got a few things that I want to do today. I've got to fix the lock on the shed. That's job number 1. Reason for that, I broke it the other day when I was cleaning out the shed. So Laura's told me I need to fix that. I want to check in with my young assistant James Urquhart as well. He probably might have a little tip for you all, so hopefully we'll check in with him a little bit later. I'm also going to check in with Sam Stevens again. He's got another little video for the kids at home, so if you enjoyed the first video with Sam, I've got another one coming for you today, which should be a little bit of fun as well. We're going to carry on with a little bit of short game practice today, so a little bit of short game tips coming your way. As you've probably seen in the previous videos, I've got a little bit of a slopey garden, so that's going to give us an opportunity to work on maybe some uphill and some downhill chip shots, some of the sort of pitfalls that I see with a lot of people, and maybe a few ideas that might be able to help you with your bit of chipping on those uneven lies. So I try and plan to catch up with Lester today if we possibly can. He unfortunately lives in a flat which doesn't have much Wi-Fi, or he doesn't have Wi-Fi at all, and he also doesn't get much phone signal, so catching up with Lester has been a little bit tricky these last sort of few days, but I'm hopefully going to catch up with him today. If not today, then I'll definitely try and catch up with him for tomorrow, because I know you want to just keep an eye on him, as I do. Why don't we start off by heading over and seeing James and seeing how he's getting on over in Exeter. I think the sun's shining over there. It's dropped in temperature here. I think we're going to come into a little bit of a cold spell. Sweaters on, everybody. Let's go and see James.
Okay, hi everyone, it's James Urquhart at Torquay Golf Club here. Uncle Dan's asked me to give you a little tip of the day. So here it is. You wonder probably what I'm doing with an umbrella on a sunny day. But what I'm going to use it for is improving your strike. So unfortunately I've left my golf clubs at Torquay Golf Club, so Broly's going to have to do. So what we're going to do basically is, as we turn back, we're going to get into this position here where we feel like the brolly is facing towards where the golf ball would be. And then what I want you to do is, as you turn through, I want you to feel like you maintain this kind of axis that you're on here, and feel like the brolly is then facing towards the ball as you're coming through as well. So it's maintaining that axis and not lifting up as you're coming through. So what I see a lot of golfers do is they'll swing the club on the way back here, and they'll lift their spine angle up, and that can cause a lot of missed strikes. It can cause a lot of tops. It can occasionally cause a shallowing out of the club, and cause fats as well. Also, they could do the opposite, which is get to here and then drop their position here. So they're not maintaining the same angle through the ball, so it's going to have an impact on strike. So give this one a go. Obviously, if you've got your golf club, you can use a golf club. Any sort of stick will do. You just feel like you're maintaining the same axis through the ball.
Right, we got PE practice this morning.
Pass it, Charlie.
Football time.
Pass it back to Bob.
That's it. Round, mummy.
Round, mummy. And then score.
Good control. Good control. Let's make sure we get a good goal this time. Go for it.
Good.
Oh, finish it. Finish it. Yay.
The screws come off. Yeah, and it can move. And it's moving.
How did that break?
I don't know.
I think Daddy broke it the other day when he was emptying the shed.
Yeah.
Should we try and fix it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a bit small, that.
Put it in. Can
That
I
one
have
there.
one
There you go. That one there. Right, go on then. Push the button. Go. Yes. Good job. One lock. Done. Here we go again. Now, I didn't give up. I kept going on Sunday. Some of you may have seen that on Instagram. I was still going with my speed training. Hope you were too. Oh, it's always the first one is always the one you need to stretch out on. Oh. Put your comments down there. How many of you are actually doing the speed training? Even if it's with a stick or not, or you've got your own weighted stick, or you've got other types of sticks. How many of you are actually doing it? I'd like to know. So this is supposed to be a 3-week lockdown, and I've got gut feeling this might go on longer, people. I don't know what you guys all think out there, but I just think we're going to be here for, I think 3 weeks could turn into 3 months pretty quickly. Right, that's speed training done. Let's head over to Sam Stevens to see if he's got any more games for you parents out there to show your kids.
So good morning, guys. So we're out in the garden today. Me and George. Say good morning, George.
Good morning.
There we go. Okay. So we thought we'd do more of a practical challenge for today. So come outside because the weather's so good and it's good to get outside in the fresh air. So we're going to do a challenge with a golf club. Okay. Now, if you haven't got a golf club at home, because I know some of you won't, don't worry too much because you can use some other equipment which I'll show you in a second. Now this challenge is called the Keepy-uppy challenge. Now those of you that play football, okay, will know this challenge because when you obviously get the ball at your feet, you can keep the ball in the air using your feet. But this is a golf club version and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Okay, so what we do, hold the golf club, okay? We hold it sort of halfway down like this, okay, to make it a bit shorter. We've got the golf ball, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bounce the ball on my club like this, and this is the Keepy-uppies, all right? Now this is extremely hard, all right? So I'm not expecting you guys to be able to do this, but it's a hard challenge, so it's a good challenge, okay? And what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to try and bounce it on your club 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, and that will be challenge complete. When you get good at it, okay, and bear in mind I've been doing this a long time, you can do some tricks, okay? So you can do that. All right, like that, and then you can go like that, okay, like that, all right. Now remember, if you haven't got golf clubs, don't worry, okay? You can use anything. So you can use a cricket bat, okay, and this is a paddling pool ball, and you can bounce it onto this. 3, 4, 5, okay, and if you haven't got that, you might have a frisbee, okay? And you get a frisbee, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can even use a spatula, okay, from your kitchen. Doesn't really matter, okay? So give it a go. George is going to have a go as well, all right? And we'll show you that as well. So that was George having a go with some of the equipment. So you can see it's really hard. And like I said, I won't be expecting anyone to be doing as many as I would do, because remember, I've been playing golf a long time. But if you can do 3, 4, 5, amazing, okay? And also have a go with some different equipment, all right? It doesn't have to just be golf clubs, because I know some of you don't have golf clubs. So have a go with some different things you find around the house. All you really need is a ball and then something with a flat surface, all right? So have a go. Okay, so get outside in the sunshine, guys, and I'll speak to you later.
Right, chipping. We've got uphill lies and we've got downhill lies with chipping. So what are we expecting to see from what the ball does when it comes out of the shot? And what am I going to do differently in my setup? And how am I going to play the shot? Let's have a little go. Right, so the first shot is going to be the uphill shot, the uphill lie, ball that's basically lying up the slope as it's working up to a green, should we say. So the first thing that I do when I'm playing this shot is you've got to make sure that you get your shoulders level with the slope. Don't try too much to try and fight the slope. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but for this particular shot, I just want you to feel like you can almost let the weight drop onto your right leg or your sort of trail leg, your back leg, and then just feel like your shoulders kind of get nice and level with the slope. What I'm expecting to see is this ball sort of jump up in the air on me, and again, at this particular time, I don't want to fight that. I think if the ball's slightly going uphill, as this club kind of leans back, it's going to just deliver that little bit more loft on the actual club itself. We'll measure that in just a moment, but what we should see is expecting to see this happen, therefore the ball should go up higher with the slope. So what I do is I tend to move the ball position just a fraction further forward in my stance, and I'm talking about an inch, Maximum, just slightly further forward in my stance. So my focus when I get over the ball position slightly further forward, shoulders get level with the slope, feel the weight just drop onto the right leg fractionally or your back leg, and then feel yourself just work with the slope as it comes up through the shot. Now just be mindful, try not to fall backwards as you hit the shot, all right? Just try and keep yourself nice and stable. It's a small shot, remember, it's just a chip shot. We don't need to have too much of a weight transfer thing going on here. We don't need to have any sort of type of lateral movement. We just keep turning back and through and just try and keep ourselves as centered as we possibly can. So the next shot that we're going to play is the downhill lie. So the ball running now downhill as if you're just off the edge of the green and you're sort of chipping from an upslope down onto the green from here. Again, remember, I want to try and get my shoulders as level with the slope as I possibly can. So in this situation, as I start to tilt my shoulders level with the slope, I can already feel the weight start to drift onto now my lead leg, my forward leg. In my case, it would be my left leg here. Feeling that pressure. Don't fight it. Don't try and feel like you're trying to work this ball up in the air by trying to lean back. I just want to make sure I keep my shoulders level with this position of the slope. Remember, the ground is higher further back, so as soon as you start to sort of lean back and trying to scoop the ball up in the air, you're just going to bottom out. Your low point is going to bottom out too early, and therefore you're going to bounce into the slope, and then it's probably going to thin the ball or scull the ball across the green. So once I've got my setup position where I've drifted my weight onto my left side, my shoulders are in the right position, I'm just going to accept and push the ball position slightly further back. Remember, as I said before, the sort of highest point is just behind you, so my low point is going to hit slightly further back in my stance. Therefore, again, let that sternum point, let everything fall forward and push my ball position again about an inch or so, just a fraction further back in the stance. Keep my handle nice and forward. Don't try and feel like you're trying to scoop it. Just keep my handle just in a normal position here, which would be feel like it's leaning forward. I just try and feel like I work with the slope as I come down through the shot, excepting by pushing that ball position back and my handle in the same position, I'm going to take loft off the club. Therefore, as we take loft off the club, the ball's going to come out a little bit lower, and then as it lands, it's going to release out maybe a fraction more. Again, don't fight this loft, except that it's going to come out fractionally low for this particular type of shot. And then I just focus on working down through the slope. Now remember, for these two shots, uphill and downhill, for those two simple techniques, those are sort of like the simplest techniques of them all really, but for those two simple techniques, you're going to accept that the ball is going to go higher off the upslope and then lower on the downslope. Now the key to this is accepting those two particular shots. Now you're probably asking, well, what happens if I want to keep it a little bit lower off the upslope and a little bit higher on the downslope? Let's have a look at that now. So whereas I was before on the upslope position, ball position slightly further forward, feel like my weight transferring onto my back leg here as I sort of lean my shoulders up with the slope and working with the slope. This time, I need to take loft off the club. If I'm going to keep this ball coming out low, I need to take the loft off the club. So ball position now can work from center to maybe just slightly back. I don't want to go too far back because I don't want to start thinning the shot from here, because obviously the ball is higher up from this position. So I don't want to start to feel like I'm catching it too clean. So ball position for me, I try and keep it almost center in the stance. I then just feel like I'm fighting now the slope, so I'm going to push all the weight kind of more into my left leg here rather than let it drop to my right side. I'm going to just push that weight into my left side. I then just lean the handle slightly further forward, and then I try and keep this left arm as straight as I possibly can from this position. From here, all I'm going to focus on doing is, as I come through, is work up and with the slope. And what I'm feeling personally is that as I come through, I'm pulling the handle slightly up to work with the slope. I'm not trying to feel like I'm going to let that club kind of dig into the ground too much here. I don't want to get the club digging into the ground. I want to try and feel like I can work with the slope, so I sort of feel like I'm pulling the handle up as I come through. Remembering strike is everything, so I don't want to now start thinning it because I'm lifting it up too much. You just got to practice that and try and work out where the strike is the best. So just to recap, center of the stance, feel like the weight is just slightly forward, a nice straight left arm position from here, or your sort of lead arm, and then as I work myself through, maintaining that handle forward, and then try and work up the slope from there. And instantly, whereas before it went up in the launch. Now it stayed nice and flat. It kind of almost like stayed level with the slope and just worked with the slope as it went up through. Right, downhill lie, trying to maintain loft on the club. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated for us all. So there's a couple of ways in which I can get loft on this club. I can either lean the handle back and give me more loft on the actual club face, or I can start to open the face up fractionally. Now the problem I find with leaning the handle back off a downhill lie is that as soon as I start to bring this up, my sort of bounce really starts to kick in here. Now I lean that handle back too much, and now as I try and almost scoop the ball up through the shot here to maintain good loft, I can start to bottom out a bit early, and therefore I kind of bounce in the club here, and then what happens is it kind of almost thins the ball as it comes through. So for me, what I like to do is I like to open the club face up here, okay, which gives me that loft that I want, but I push my ball position way forward. So now my ball position's kind of off my left heel here. So I maintain this position here, and then I really focus on keeping the weight on my left side and my shoulders still kind of working with the slope. I keep the handle of the club kind of pointing to my sort of left pocket here as well. And then the key to this, because obviously the club face is open, I need to feel like I'm aiming slightly left in this position. So I'm going to aim left to compensate for the fact that the face is just that fraction open on me. And then what I do from here is I keep my weight on my front side, so nicely on my left leg, and then I swing along the line of my feet, almost accepting that as I come across the ball, I'm going to be almost kind of chopping across it, so swinging very much out to in and hitting almost like a cut shot with a chip shot. And then again, I don't want to be fighting the actual slope itself, so I don't want to get into this position and start leaning up. I just work myself down with the slope, maintain that handle slightly more towards my left side, keep that face open, and then just slide the club through. Again, with that shot, don't feel like you're trying to scoop the ball. Just work with the slope, accept that you've given yourself a nice bit of extra loft by opening the face up, and that can really help. Let me know, put your comments down below. How do you get on with those particular shots? Is it something new for you to work on? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Also, if you've got any ideas as well, I'd like to hear what you do, if there's anything different from what you practice or play with those particular shots. Let me know, put your comments down there. Looks like I'm off to play football, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.